Hello, Griffin Primary School. Hello, Mr. Downey. And hello, everyone in Year 4 Jaguars class. My name's Alistair Humphreys, and I am the author of The Boy Who Bite the World books. Now, if it looks like I am hiding under a duvet and some blankets, like I'm in a den, that's kind of true, because I actually am hiding under a duvet in the shed where I work. And the reason I'm doing that is because today I'm recording the audio book for my new children's book. It's called The Girl Who Rode the Ocean. And when you record an audio book, you want to block out all the sound and make the room as soft and quiet as possible. So I'm calling you from underneath my duvet. The reason I'm recording this message now is because my neighbour has just started mowing his lawn, which is annoying because it might be quiet enough for a video message, but it's not quiet enough for an audiobook. So until he finishes mowing his lawn and goes for his lunch, I'm doing some jobs, like speaking to you guys. I forgot to get you my book. Here we have. Oh. So I have to just come back into my den, pass my stick. Oh. Here we are. The Boy Who Bite the World books. Thank you so much for reading them. I hope you've enjoyed them. I know it's got you out onto your bikes, which is absolutely awesome, and you've cycled far enough to get yourself to Dover on the boat, and adventures can begin. You've also sent me some brilliant questions, which I'm going to open up and answer. Abdullah says, what was the furthest you cycled in a day? On that trip, the furthest I cycled in a day was 150 miles. 100 miles was always a big day, and once I got fit after a lot of riding, I could do 100 miles, but that was a big long day. And one day in South America in the Andes, I got to the end of 100 miles. Oh, really good day. Needed somewhere to put up my tent, carried on riding a bit, and the road started to go downhill, and it just went down and down and down. I was up in the mountains. I was about 4,000 meters high, and this road just went all the way down to the sea. It freewheeled downhill for 50 miles. What an awesome end to the day that was, a 50-mile downhill. Mr. Downey wants to know if I came across the Welsh settlements when I cycled through Patagonia, Trevelyan and Esquel. Yeah, there's quite a Welsh vibe, a Welsh feel to some of Patagonia. So a couple of the villages felt a bit more Welsh than Hispanic. And it's an amazing bit of a culture, that the sort of Welsh community there. I didn't actually have much interaction with that part of it, but I do know of it. Mehak says, what was your favourite and least favourite country and why? I don't have a least favourite country. I found every country I went to really interesting. Some I found harder than others, more challenging than others. Maybe a bit less fun, but I definitely didn't have a least favourite. I'm glad I went to each one of them. Favourite, my answer. Sorry, I keep blinking as I'm going to fall asleep. I've been reading this audio book, and whilst I hope my books are interesting, I hope you've enjoyed them. When I have to stand up and read every single page out loud, it's exhausting and very boring. But I hope it's not boring in the end. Anyway, favourite country. Wake up, Al. Favourite country. I get asked this question all the time, and I always give a different answer because I like places for so many different reasons. So today's answer is going to be Japan, because it's interesting, it's incredibly safe, it's very clean, very friendly, very welcoming, fantastic food, also some disgusting food, and just somewhere really unusual and different that feels totally different to the world that I grew up in. Giles says, did you learn a new language cycling around the world? I learned a few words in loads of languages. So, hello, goodbye, please, thank you, left, right, bicycle, banana. But the only language I got good at was Spanish, because I had a... See, when you're reading out a book, if you make a mistake like that, you have to press stop in the recording, go all the way back to the start of that bit, and do it all again. I got pretty good at Spanish cycling through South America. I had a whole year there, so my Spanish was pretty good. And it was so nice to be able to communicate in a different language. I wish I could speak more languages. It's so good to try and learn languages at school. Josh, who's the most famous person you met cycling around the world? Gosh. Well, in Sudan, I met a guy who was very famous. He was on the Sudan version of EastEnders. And when we saw him, everyone was like, oh look, it's that guy. Wow, he's famous. I had absolutely no idea who he was, but apparently he was really famous. Ahlam says, why did you decide to cycle alone? Well, it was sort of choice and sort of not choice. My first thought was, I'd like to go with a friend just because it's less scary and I've got some company. I did worry a bit that going around the whole world with one person, you might get fed up with them and start to hate them, but I did want to go around the world with a friend. Sorry, massive yawn from my boring book. But the friends that I asked didn't want to come with me. They didn't want to cycle around the world for years. So in the end, I was sort of forced to go by myself. And even though that wasn't really what I wanted, I kind of knew it was the best thing. It was for the best to go by myself. And because you have the freedom to do things the way you want to do, and also you can just get up when you want, you can camp when you want. It's a lot easier, but also it forces you to talk to local people. If I was with my friend Bob and I would just sit and talk about stuff. Whereas when you're out in another country on your own, you just have to chat to whoever that's out there. And so you meet loads of interesting people. So I think that going by yourself is brilliant on adventures if you can dare yourself to do that. Cameron says, did you see any live football matches or any other sporting matches while you were on your trip? That is a brilliant question that no one has ever asked me in many, many years. Gosh, this is going to test my memory now. I went to watch Kazakhstan play football. No, I didn't. I went to watch Kyrgyzstan play football. I watched the Kyrgyzstan national team in Bishkek Stadium. They were rubbish and they got thrashed about 7-1. What else did I see? I desperately tried to watch England Rugby World Cup, but I was on a sailing boat out of Colombia, sailing for Panama, so I had to try and get it on the ship's shortwave radio, and you twiddle these little knobs and it goes, the rugby today. So I was desperately trying to tune in for that. I delayed my departure out of San Francisco because I wanted to watch a Leeds United match. I rushed madly through a bit of East Africa to get some TVs in time to watch the Football World Cup. I stayed in Alaska for a bit longer than I needed to so that I could watch the Olympics on TV. And then I rushed madly through Turkey, which has no interest in cricket, to get to Istanbul, where I could find satellite TV and get an illegal TV station from India showing England, Australia in the cricket. So sport was definitely linked into my adventure. Did I see anything except Kyrgyzstan? Yes, in Los Angeles, I went to watch a professional ice hockey match, which was brilliant fun, although I couldn't see the puck zooming around it so fast. I feel there must be more. This is a great question. I need to think more about this. Thank you, Cameron. That's a great question. Kieran says, how did your mum react when you got home? Well, she was very pleased, and I was very pleased to see my mum as well. I miss my mum. Dylan, what animals did you see along the way? Oh, animals are great. In Africa, I saw lions and elephants and giraffes and crocodiles, and crossing the Atlantic, I saw whales and dolphins, and in Alaska and Canada, I saw grizzly bears. So awesome animals. Hajira says, I was reading about Ranulph Fiennes' experiences. After he did 7 marathons in 7 days in 7 continents, he wanted to drink hot chocolate and eat chicken curry. What did I want to do after you finished your adventure? What a great question. So I was looking forward to all sorts of things for years, but weirdly, what it got down to in the end, what I really wanted was something that I'd been missing around the world, was beans on toast and British breakfast cereal. And so I ate lots of those, which was a pretty cheap homecoming celebration, really. Kelsey says, what's your next adventure or challenge? At the moment, having gone all the way around the whole world, I'm now trying to explore the one map that I live on to really, really explore the few miles close to where I live. And it's been amazing. I've been finding things I never knew existed. Like streets that I've never been down, just a few hundred metres from my house. There's adventure everywhere. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. Josh, what was the scariest incident or the most gobsmacking thing you saw on the journey? What a fantastic word. Gobsmacking. Gobsmacking. Gosh. I tell you what was amazing was when you saw a world famous thing with your own eyes. And I used to actually, as I was going around the world, I was often jealous of people who travelled before the internet and before photography. Because, take for example the pyramids in Egypt, or the Great Wall of China, or Machu Picchu, or the Golden Gate Bridge. These are awesome, cool things. But we've also seen them 1,000 times on TV and in photos. And in some ways I thought that would be a bit disappointing, but still it's pretty gobsmacking when you're cycling through Egypt and then you get to the city and then you see the pyramids. I've made it to the pyramids by bicycle. Or seeing the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco and just stopping for a minute thinking, wow, I've cycled for 2.5 years and now I'm here. So that was pretty cool. That's the end of the questions. Thank you very much, Griffin Primary School. You've asked some fantastic questions here. Really good. And I'm so impressed that you've cycled 80 miles. That's enough distance to cycle to Dover. I really hope that reading this book might have given you some ideas for adventures of your own. I'm glad you've read Great Adventurers, thank you. Who knows, maybe you will read, when it comes out in the summertime, maybe you'll read The Girl Who Rode the Ocean, which I promise you, oh, yawn again, I promise you isn't as boring as I'm making out, having stood here reading that book all day long. Good news, the man next door has finished mowing his lawn. I'm going to get back and start recording The Girl Who Rode the Ocean again. Thank you so much and good luck with all of your own adventures.